right, so today I'm planting some Miscanthus. This is a spot where I've wanted to put some sort of screening for a future ground blind or slightly elevated blind, not super high. Basically just this little circle right here, just hiding a future hunting blind. Me and my dad were hunting the pop-up blind probably like 4 or 5 years ago. That was the last time we hunted this particular spot with a ground blind because there was no cover other than a little bit of weeds every year that would grow up right here. Right next to one of our food plots. More of our food plots are out this way. Probably, this is a pretty extreme Miscanthus planting. I got like basically just filling this whole thing up except about a maybe 8x8 circle in the middle. Last year was my first year trying out the Miscanthus, and in areas with very little vegetation and competition, it got like 3-4 feet in the first year. You can see I got all these holes dug. So I got like 1, 2, 3 rows in about maybe a yard and a half. 4 rows basically to the blind on this side, probably closer to 5 or 6 rows there. 5 or 6 rows here and like 4 rows on that side too. So it's gonna be pretty crazy thick. Obviously we'll have to cut out shooting lanes, but I'd rather have to cut out shooting lanes instead of haul in brush every year just to hide the blind. I mean, it'll be well hidden once this stuff gets full height and mature. Just cut out a couple of shooting lanes there, and out through here. Access from the back here. Deer do sneak in behind here occasionally, but most of the stuff is walking around over there, or they cut through maybe 50 yards up that way. Occasionally we'll see deer come through here, but it's pretty rare. I think this will be pretty crazy. Once this is fully grown, it'll be just a giant wall of just basically tall grass, Miscanthus obviously, and leaving about a 8x8 circle here. Like I said, we can just pop up a ground blind in here, or in the future, if we really wanted to get serious, we could build, I would say probably like maybe like a 5-foot platform would be perfect. I don't want to get too tall, just enough to get to the top of the Miscanthus and still be almost 100% hidden. I mean, obviously if the deer see us get out of here, they're gonna know that this is a hunting spot, but this blind, especially on the ground, will be like 100% concealed. The only way that they're gonna know that we're here is if they see us get in and out, or obviously smell us. So it'd be pretty crazy once this is all grown up. I'll do maybe like 2 updates throughout the year. I sprayed this off with 2,4-D and Simazine a couple weeks ago because it was horse nettle and other broadleafs coming in. There was a little bit of canary grass in here that might be an issue. I didn't get it fully killed, but it was just like 1 or 2 patches of it. Most of it's gone. In the future I might kill these buckthorn because it's gonna really screw up some of those ones down there. I mean, this is perfect. You can see this way, there, and there. I mean, just a perfect setup. Get in pretty easily from the fields that way. Maybe sneak in right here actually, because there's definitely deer biting in here occasionally. So I think it should be pretty cool. I'll see you, I guess, in a month or 2 when this stuff starts coming up. I probably should come in here. I don't have my backpack sprayer today, but maybe next time I'm out here and just put a real heavy dose of Simazine on the ground. Just really set back all these annual weeds that'll start popping up. But I did already do that, like I said, probably a couple weeks ago. But I should probably do that again now that I came in here with the disc and worked this all up. But yeah, we'll see what it looks like, I guess, in the future here. Here's what the rhizomes look like. I would assume these bigger ones like this probably have more energy stored and they might pop up faster. Some of these pop up pretty quick, others take almost a month to come up. These bags, I got 2 bags, 200 rhizome bags. I don't think I'll need all 200 right there. So I got another spot where I'm gonna put some, but I probably won't really include much of that footage in the video. basically, I think you just want to put these things up because that's where it's growing from. I mean, you could put them down. They should turn up, but just put those sprigs pointed upward because that's where the grass is starting to grow. Yeah. All right, so here's a quick look at what this Miscanthus is looking like. It's been a while since I did an update. You can see some of the tallest ones in here are already close to 4 feet tall. My hand pulled as many weeds as I could in the beginning, but you know, eventually got out of control, and now it's just pretty much filled up with giant ragweed, pigweed, water hemp. I've tested out, I have a little buckthorn clearing where I've been trying to kill as much buckthorn as possible with the triclopyr. Now that the sunlight's getting to the ground, there's just millions of buckthorn seed coming up, so I've been going through with the backpack sprayer and spraying out the seedling buckthorn. And I have switchgrass scattered throughout that area. That area is over that way, a couple 100 yards, and I have some, that's where I have the other Miscanthus too. And the triclopyr is mainly a brush killer, but it does kill broadleafs just as good, if not better, than 2,4-D. And it doesn't harm grasses at all unless you spray like really heavy. I just got this stuff mixed up at 2 ounces per gallon, and I'm gonna just drive around the perimeter and just hit all this. And I probably wouldn't even need to do it. Technically, the Miscanthus is getting established, and these weeds are probably going to get about 4 feet, maybe 5 feet tall this year, but all it's going to do is just really clean up this spot and really help out the Miscanthus, because there is a lot more in here than what you see. I mean, you can see them all. There should be a couple more small, like, see how small some of these are right here? Oh no, that's grass, never mind. But this is Miscanthus. This is Miscanthus. I'm sure there's some real small ones in here that are just trying to come up because they're all different sizes when you put them in the ground, and some of them take a while to shoot up, where some of them come up real fast right away like this. And they're still trying to shoot up more grass shoots here. There might be some little ones that are just coming up like that in here, mixed amongst all this. I'll show you an update probably a week or two when this stuff's all dead, but from my experience over there, it doesn't touch the switchgrass and it doesn't hurt the Miscanthus either. So 2 ounces per gallon. This should clean this up. I'm sure there'll be some weeds that survive, but we'll see, I guess. Maybe not. All right, one last look at this Miscanthus. Not sure how many days or weeks this is, probably close to 3 weeks or better. You can see it's all the grasses. There's a couple grasses in here. This ain't Miscanthus, this is just a weed. But all the grasses in Miscanthus is untouched by this triclopyr. Like I said earlier, I've had bad experiences spraying 2,4-D on corn. I'm not sure if 2,4-D would work, but I know for sure that the triclopyr works and doesn't harm the switchgrass or the Miscanthus at all. I'm going to take you over to my switchgrass edge. My most of it's, about half of it's second year switchgrass and half of it's first year switchgrass. I didn't get the greatest take. I planted it like midsummer last year. It's in that wetter field over there. And then I seeded some more this spring into it. And again, it really helped clean up all the weeds, because that's a wetter, swampier field and there's hardly any grasses for weeds. It's just all broadleafs. So same thing with this spot, very few grasses, just all broadleafs, and it's looking fantastic. This is first year Miscanthus, and some of the tallest ones are almost 6 feet tall. They're probably getting close to done growing, but who knows? I mean, it's not even August yet, so I guess they could. And you can see there's like no competition down here, so they just keep shooting up more shoots from the ground, some of these bigger ones. And you can see like this one is going to shoot up a couple more sprigs now that the ground is getting more sunlight because all these weeds are dead. Pretty crazy how well this cleaned up. I mean, like I said, it probably would have been fine without spraying, but spraying just gave this another a whole nother month or two of growth, because this would all, the ground would have been completely shaded by now. These weeds and stuff were like basically knee high when I sprayed, and now it's pretty much crumbling down to nothing. This is all new growth, some of these ones that are coming up. I'm gonna take you over to the switchgrass and show you what the switchgrass looks like before the video's over. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this looks. This will be a nice cluster of Miscanthus that I can put a blind right in the center of. And the only way deer will know I'm in there is if they see me get in and out or smell me. I should be really secure to hunt that late season or any time of the year, really. All right, so here's the switchgrass. This, like I said, is all second. Some of these taller ones in here are second year plants. Like this, putting on a little seed head. Like right there. There's like 3 different types of switchgrass in here. Cave and rock and 2 other ones. Just generic switchgrass. I wanted like a little bit of a screening edge here, because when all this buckthorn drops its leaves in the wintertime, you can look right through here. So hopefully eventually this switchgrass gets 5 to 6 feet tall, and I don't ever expect deer to bed here. It's just a little bit of screening edge, and we got nearly an acre food plot here, so we don't really need another 10 yards of food here. So it looks like we actually got some cattails or some swamp grass growing in here. That's how wet this area is. I mean, you can see the ground is just completely saturated. There was standing water in this whole area this past weekend when we got nearly 2 inches of rain in a half hour. But yeah, this, I drove along the edge here the same day I sprayed the Miscanthus over there, and just shot in the triclopyr on this side. You could see I probably should have drove through it and got some of these taller weeds on the edge here, because I could have just nuked all of those too, because I got some switchgrass coming up all the way into here. I guess I could still do that, but I'm not sure if I will or not. But it pretty much killed all these, or severely stunted a lot of this water hemp. I mean, there's a whole nother flush. Look at all these weeds. This is all water hemp, just Roundup resistant broadleafs. But I got all this switchgrass in here. The switchgrass is definitely struggling. Here's a cluster of it. This is a weed. Switchgrass, switchgrass, switchgrass. Here's a second year plant, a little bit bigger. So that really helped save this switchgrass. I mean, these weeds were just starting to get up above most of it. Yeah, this triclopyr does the magic. I mean, if you got grass in your switchgrass, you're kind of screwed at that point. I know that's probably what a lot of people have, is grass issues with their switchgrass, planting in drier sites. But this is a really low, dark ground field. It's just, there's hardly any grass. There's no grass weeds in here. If there was grass in here, it would have survived. The only grass weeds in here are a few clumps of cool season grass, not foxtail or crabgrass or anything like that. The switchgrass did a little bit better on this side. Where I started the video over there is kind of the lowest spot. There's a little dip right there, and then it goes up towards the other. You can see my, I'll head over there at the end of the video. That's my other wall of switchgrass along that food plot. But it's a little bit higher here, so I had a little bit more of this switchgrass that came in and survived the first year. You can see I got definitely a little bit more second year plants in here, and this stuff is about 4 feet tall, and I got a whole bunch of first year plants in here that are about knee high, all these. So this is going to come into a pretty solid, I didn't know if I was going to be able to get switch to grow in this really wet ground, but it's coming in pretty good. I didn't think it was going to come in this good, this fast. All right, I'm going to head up to that other spot. That's a 3rd year. This is the 3rd year for that switchgrass. I don't think I have any videos of that in the past, but that's, like I said, is a drier ground plot. There's usually more grasses over there. The first year I planted that, I seeded it right into soybean stubble, broadcasted in the early spring. And I didn't put any pre-emergent down, because that was before I was really looking into pre-emergence like simazine for corn and switchgrass. and I just mowed it. I mowed it like 3 times or something the first year, just to keep the weeds down and keep the switch about the same height as the weeds so it wouldn't get shaded out. There's a couple grasses up on this edge. This looks like switch, but it's an imposter. It looks like switch, it's a weed though. That's all switch in there, that other taller grass, and this is all first year switch coming in mixed amongst all these weeds. These weeds are still kind of alive, but it really set them back to get some sunlight into there to those little switchgrass plants. Here's the 3rd year switch. This stuff's at pretty much full height now. And this spring we burnt this off. This is the first time we burned it off this spring, and this is by far the best it's looked. But like I said, it's its 3rd year, so this was the year that it was going to look the best. It's finally matured, and there's hardly any deer that bed in this stuff. I was hoping to that they'd bed along some of this grass at night next to the food, but there's just really minimal amounts of bedding even in the wintertime next to this food. I guess it's just a nice little screening wall for if we access along the cow lane there. Double fence row of brush, and anything out in these plots can't really see us coming in or out. That's about all it is. It's definitely about 6 to 7 feet tall, probably 7 feet tall to the tops of some of these tassels or seed heads. It's thick too. I mean, I probably got it a little overseeded, so that's probably why the deer aren't really walking through here. I mean, it's so thick, it's actually starting to fall down and kind of choke itself out. Like right here's one big plant, kind of a cluster. I'm not sure if this stuff is dropping. It's obviously dropping seed and probably thickening itself up too a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty thick, so that's probably why there's like no deer walking through here. I think next spring I'm gonna burn this off. I'm gonna spray a couple little circles in here with a couple short little runs, short little trails heading out. Like I could spray a little circle right along the brush here, or a little semicircle, or something could maybe lay down and then put like one trail going out towards the food. And maybe they'd come in here and I could see a doe or a fawn just laying down right here close to food. Kind of, I guess, any time of the year, maybe, if I could get them to bed right here. It's just kind of in the shade. It's not really a bad spot, really. So that's just something I might try, but I did that in another switchgrass spot along another food plot on that side of the property. And yet, I think there's definitely more deer walking around over there in some of them sprayed trails, but a lot of that switch actually survived. I sprayed it when it was like just coming up after we burnt it. I don't know, like 6-8 inches tall with a decent mixture of glyphosate, and it all survived, but it just stunted it. And it's about shin high where the rest of it's this tall. So I got little sprayed trails through there, and there's definitely deer walking through there more than ever before. So spraying trails through this really thick, dense switchgrass definitely gets them to walk through here better. But just be interesting if we could get any deer to bed in this little edge right here. The more does I get to bed over here, just the better the hunting is going to be in general, because more deer we'll see, more bucks will attract during the rut. No bucks are going to be bedding here. We're out here way too much for anything of age to think it's safe on this property. I mean, maybe on the hill or some of these areas, you know, we don't really drive around or, you know, access and use the property that much during the hunting season, but just all summer and all the way up till about mid-September, I'm out here and my dad's out here and family's out, everyone's out here. So anyways, this is just kind of a little habitat video, I guess, but I'm not sure. I might have some buckthorn habitat, buckthorn removal stuff coming up eventually this year, but yeah, you'll see later updates of these plots at the end of the summer. These soybeans turned out all right here in the Trump plot, but yeah, thanks for watching.